overwhelming sensation of non-existence. Amidst the laughter, tears, quests, discoveries, lives, and deaths of others, I yearn to find my place, to dissolve this suffocating despair. And there he comes, a man I've known for years. Today, I will approach him and confide everything. I will share my pain, lay bare the essence of life, reveal my true self, and expose the depths of my loneliness. What if he fails to grasp it, disbelieving my words, saying, "Look around you, you have so many friends." Unaware that I am a solitary entity in this vast world, unknown and uncomprehended, no one aware of my emotions, my soul. The man draws near, and I must seize the moment to unburden myself, to clarify, to rid myself of this heavy burden. There he is, so close, just a few steps away. I must approach him. But he disappears, leaving me ensnared in undivided loneliness. I must find an escape, a path out of this desolation. Help me, please. Rain saturates my soul, a smile lingers in my eyes, a tempest ravages my heart, yet serenity graces my countenance. None shall fathom the torment endured, to wear this facade in the presence of all, throughout my existence. She couldn't bring herself to finish or erase these 4 lines. They encapsulated her entire life, conveying her emotions, her anguish. Perhaps, upon completing them, she would discover what she had long lost but couldn't reclaim. Chapter 1. Another day commenced, and she rose as customary. Her eyes bore no semblance of feeling. Neither joy nor sorrow greeted her this morning. Instead, she sensed mere existence rather than living. Weary, she stood before the mirror, gazing at her reflection. It presented a beautiful girl who could have reveled in accomplishments. Yet she did not. Men repelled her, perceiving her as proud, aloof, and unapproachable. In truth, it was likely her indifference, a peculiar detachment. She lingered by the mirror this morning. Initially, casting an apathetic glance at her own image, she instinctively rectified what she disliked or failed to conform to her fabricated persona. And suddenly, she yearned to ascertain her own beauty. In search of an answer, her almost obsidian eyes shimmered for a fleeting moment, transforming the pretty girl into an exquisite vision. But the magical glow vanished as swiftly as it appeared, leaving behind a perplexing void. She dressed and ventured outside. Her gaze fell upon the sun, radiating with gentle brilliance against the azure sky, a sun that breathed life and color into the world. Yet to her, it became an unsettling phenomenon, compelling her to retreat from its kaleidoscope of hues to evade her pain, her loneliness. Loneliness, a word that had become her nemesis. Only recently had she grasped the harsh reality it encapsulated. Love and affection had always surrounded her since childhood. She had been blessed with a wonderful family, caring parents who endeavored to fill her life with happiness. Adversity had eluded her, and she attended a prestigious institution. Loved, hated, overlooked, known, and valued, yet an emptiness lingered. Something perpetually eluded her, and she sought to escape this void. She transformed, becoming what those around her desired. Gradually, she lost herself, and the emptiness seeped into every crevice. It stifled her breath, hindered love, impeded living. She had finally christened her affliction, loneliness, a solitary void shared by none. And the caress of the tender, radiant sun only served to intensify her agony. Suddenly, a raindrop snapped her out of her thoughts. It was as if the heavens had heard her pain, her silent soul's plea. Raindrops descended gently, cautiously, as if shielding her, cleansing her troubled mind. Accompanied by her invisible weeping companion, she ventured into a realm teeming with individuals yearning for purpose, pursuing the path to happiness. There, she led a different life, a life devoid of sentiments, devoid of emotions. Surrounded by people, she aided them, listened to them, offered counsel, delving into their troubles without ever exposing her own. She laughed, seethed with anger, experienced happiness and sorrow, yet felt nothing. While traversing the corridor with her companion, listening to yet another problem, a sudden thought struck her. Perhaps now she could divulge her deepest emotions, her struggles. Maybe she could share her burdens, her sentiments, just as others around her did. Waiting for her companion to conclude their tale, she began her confession. Have you ever tasted loneliness, felt lost, experienced the sensation of not belonging in this world? She was on the brink of baring her soul. Abruptly, her eyes met those of her companion, and within them, she detected surprise mingled with incomprehension. Her heart constricted, and a somber shroud descended upon her, obscuring the world, leaving only the mocking laughter of loneliness. A solitary terror trickled down her cheek, searing her face, leaving a crimson mark on her heart. For an instant, her awareness of the surrounding world returned. The realization that she remained within a realm of soulless individuals who could never understand her, who would forever be oblivious to her plight. Summoning every ounce of strength, she fled from that place. She ran, endeavoring to escape from herself. Yet she could not outrun her own being, and the nearest unoccupied bench became her sanctuary, her refuge. Physically drained and even more mentally exhausted, she collapsed onto the seat. Her countenance drained of all color, resembling a lifeless porcelain doll, long played with and discarded or replaced. Now this once treasured and now forsaken doll lay abandoned, its ability to feel seemingly vanished, and suddenly sobs erupted from her chest. The tears that flowed no longer burned. Instead, they washed away the pain. Time seemed to stand still as she continued to weep. It had been an eternity since she had last shed tears, perhaps since that fateful day, since that pivotal moment that forever altered her existence. With each tear shed, her anguish ebbed, reality seeped back in. The first sensation she registered was the rain, mingling with her tears, striving to heal her wounded soul. The rain enveloped her, shielding her with its damp, chilling embrace, and in that moment, she yearned to remain close to the rain, to relinquish this alien world. Little did she know, this world refused to release its hold on her, and so she beseeched fate for guidance, for a path forward. Chapter 2. He possessed it all. Beauty, youth, wealth, friends, and talent. From an outsider's perspective, he was a man born into happiness. Yet deep within, he sensed a void he couldn't quite comprehend. Just like any other day, he woke up with a joyful spirit, a radiant smile adorning his face, embracing the pleasant weather and the warm touch of the sun. The sun, his companion, symbolized a kindred spirit, a friend, protector, and guardian. Filled with inexplicable joy and anticipation for something extraordinary, he stepped outside. The sun enveloped him with its tender and affectionate warmth, and he relished in this embrace, reluctant to let go of its comforting radiance. Deciding to postpone his usual routine, he embarked on a walk, seeking solace in contemplating his life. He yearned for change, for a more diverse and intriguing existence. His friends, loyal and ever supportive, were always there for him in times of joy and sorrow. Yet he couldn't find the words to convey his inner struggles to them. He played the role of the friend they expected him to be, the man who seemingly had it all. But deep down, he was just like any other person, searching for happiness and yearning for understanding. He never complained about a lack of attention or love. Everyone adored him, captivated first by his appearance and then by his character. He was the life of every gathering, always willing to lend a helping hand, offering encouragement, and engaging in wild and enjoyable adventures. Sadness or preoccupation were foreign to him. He was always surrounded by a sea of admirers. Some were enticed by his looks, others by his status, and he was aware of it. He moved from one romantic relationship to another, never causing harm, as if his connections with women were mere temporary encounters. Although it may sound callous, he always left them with something, ensuring they didn't feel used. Currently, he had a girlfriend, a girl he deemed fortunate to have. She possessed beauty, an enchanting figure, intelligence, and grace in high society. She was popular and had countless admirers, yet she had chosen him, or rather, he had chosen her. They formed a striking couple. It was a phrase he had memorized, one he would utter to please others. No one cared about his true feelings. He was in a constant search, unaware of what he truly desired. The feeling of emptiness lingered, refusing to leave his side. But on this particular day, those thoughts didn't weigh him down. He strolled along the street, humming a melodious tune. Music was the most important element in his life, as it had the power to transport him into a world of dreams, a world where he felt he belonged. His remarkable talent for expressing emotions through music flowed from his heart, offering him a glimpse into a mysterious and captivating path. However, he hesitated to follow that path, fearing it would jeopardize everything he had achieved. Even though he knew those accomplishments held no true significance for him, the opinions of those around him mattered, as he cared about their understanding. He understood they could never comprehend him fully, as many would trade anything to possess what he had. Yet all he yearned for was the unknown. Happiness radiated within him today. All worries and distractions faded away. The melody he had invented carried him into a realm of illusions. Everyone around him seemed to listen to the song of his soul. Surveying his surroundings, he marveled at the beauty that enveloped him. It was as if nature, in a deliberate act, had painted vibrant colors, seamlessly blending them into an enchanting melody, a symphony of beauty. The emptiness that had rendered his life unreal vanished, at least for a fleeting moment. Everything appeared exquisite. However, the melody abruptly ceased, disrupted by a single raindrop that snapped him out of his illusory world. Surprised, he glanced at the sky, which had been shining just moments before. The rain intensified, contradicting the lovely weather. Each droplet washed away his tranquility, joy, and happiness, as if the rain had grasped his hand and cast him down from heaven. Rain was not to his liking, even though he knew it was merely water. Yet this water infused him with sadness, a sense of desolation, and a reminder of reality. Gazing at the sky with a melancholic gaze, he continued his aimless wandering, fleeing not from the weather, but from his unfulfilled desires. The rain persisted, washing away the vibrant hues of his surroundings, leaving behind a gray and monotonous world. Nature lost its luster, and raindrops transformed into tears. Hastening his steps, he almost ran, attempting to escape the cruel tears that inflicted unbearable agony on his precious existence. It was the first time he experienced such pain, as if someone else's anguish had infiltrated his being, tearing him apart. He halted abruptly upon hearing stifled sobs. At first, he dismissed them as the sound of rain rustling through leaves, but something compelled him to pause. Perhaps fate had guided him to this very spot. His gaze fell upon a bench partially concealed by a jasmine bush. Seated on the bench was a girl, seemingly embraced by the rain. She remained motionless, resembling a mere apparition. With her head bowed, the faint sobs emanating from her soul revealed her existence, a living being burdened with a wounded heart. He sensed an unspoken plea for help. Something stirred deep within his soul, prompting him to forsake everything in his quest to heal her wounds. In that moment, he forgot about everything and everyone else. She became his sole focus, the unfamiliar, enigmatic stranger who felt closer and dearer to him than anyone else ever had. Chapter 3. Sensing a presence, she became aware of someone's gaze upon her. The desire to cease her tears welled up within her, yet the mischievous, traitorous tears imprisoned deep in her heart refused to be restrained. Helplessly, she watched as they cascaded down her cheeks, mingling with the raindrops, forming a delicate stream that flowed onto her lap and onto the bench. Each tear that fell to the ground appeared as though the earth itself wept crimson tears, saturated with pain and despair. She could still feel his presence, the man who continued to observe her. Drawing nearer, the man approached. Lifting her head, she peered through the veil of gray rain and beheld an angel. Yes, an angel who must have descended with the rain from the heavens above. The tears blurred her vision, leaving only his eyes visible. Eyes as azure as the sky, the most resplendent she had ever witnessed. They possessed a remarkable clarity, yet harbored unfathomable depths, shimmering with myriad shades of blue. Mesmerized, she stared into those bottomless eyes as they unveiled an unknown world before her. Each passing second solidified her belief that this angel had been dispatched from heaven to whisk her away into paradise. Just moments ago, she had pleaded for life to cease pulsating within her chest, longing to transform into raindrops scattered across the earth, narrating the tale of her fleeting, insignificant existence within the gentle symphony of rainfall. And then he appeared, her angel. The world inverted upon itself. She forgot everything, fixated solely on his eyes. Nothing else registered in her consciousness. She was oblivious to her surroundings. In those eyes, she deciphered the narrative of her life, every event, every attempt, and every failure flickering past her mind's eye. She also recollected the one who had inflicted this tormenting pain upon her. Why couldn't unpleasant memories be erased? Must one endure the agony of reliving them repeatedly? Why had life transformed into a relentless torture? Agony contorted her visage, her breath grew shallow. Memories flooded in, engulfing her, while she fought desperately to ward them off, but the battle was unevenly matched. They carried her farther and farther away. She yearned to escape remembrance. Reliving it all would surely be her demise. With eyes beseeching the angel for salvation, she extended a trembling hand towards him, a glimmer of fear accompanying her gesture. Chapter 4. Unbeknownst to him, he found himself captivated by her presence. He couldn't fathom what had drawn him here or why he couldn't tear his gaze away from the girl before him. There was an inexplicable urge within him to remain by her side. The fragrance of jasmine wafted through the air, mingling with the refreshing scent of rain. The raindrops fell gently upon him, but he remained oblivious to his surroundings. His attention was fixated on the girl. Taking a few steps closer, he suddenly witnessed her lifting her head. All he saw were her tear-filled brown eyes, looking directly into his own. There was an ethereal quality about her, something extraordinary. He had never witnessed such profound despair. In that moment, all his own troubles seemed trivial and insignificant. The world turned upside down. Everything faded away, leaving only her eyes brimming with a multitude of emotions. He forgot everything else, as if he ceased to exist, and only his heart beat in harmony with the rain. Then, unexpectedly, his heart quickened, responding to a silent cry for help, as he beheld her trembling hand reaching out to him. Without hesitation, he moved closer and took hold of her hand. He didn't stop to contemplate his actions. It felt as though someone else had taken residence within him, a wiser, braver presence unafraid to listen to his impassioned heart. She looked at him, a blend of desperation and hope in her eyes. She managed to utter a single word, "Angel." Her choice of words took him by surprise. He had expected anything but that. And just like that, the rain ceased. The surroundings stood frozen, awaiting something. For a few minutes, absolute silence enveloped them. Holding her hand, she drew strength, knowing that this was her last opportunity. She glanced around, released his hand, and with her eyes implored him to join her on the bench. Without breaking eye contact, he seated himself at the edge of the bench. With her gaze now lowered to the ground, she began to speak in a slightly trembling voice. "I am constantly surrounded by people, yet I always feel alone. There's something missing, a void that tears me apart from within. To fill that void, I tried to mold myself into someone else. Strangely, I was never like everyone else to begin with. Initially, it didn't bother me. As a child, I inhabited a special world of my own. I lived through my dreams, believing in happiness and goodness. Fairy tales held a special place in my heart, for they exuded beauty and simplicity. And music, oh, how I adored the music of childhood. It embodied all the dreams that children cherish. But time passed, and childhood slipped away, almost imperceptibly, leaving me stranded in the realm of adulthood without teaching me how to navigate it. But I wasn't disheartened. I clung to the hope that my dreams would come true. Naively, I believed life was akin to a fairy tale, only to realize that such tales held no place in this world. Those whom I considered friends betrayed me, one by one. They never understood the true meaning of friendship as I did. In my eyes, a friend was everything: light, guidance, unwavering loyalty. I believed a friend would help me find my way and never abandon me. Perhaps my expectations were too high for those around me. The emptiness within me grew, and I changed, adapting to the ways of the world. I forgot how to trust people. I feared appearing foolish and losing those I held dear whenever I shared my thoughts with them. Gradually, I lost the most precious thing I had, my dreams. One day, I stumbled upon poems written by an acquaintance of mine. They resonated so deeply within me, they echoed my own unspoken thoughts and feelings. I wrote too, not poems, per se, but rather the unsaved fragments of my soul on paper, hoping to shield them from prying eyes. I believed this person would understand me, as if they experienced the same emotions. In short, I fell in love. He was handsome, charming, and fascinating. He had many friends and countless admirers. My friends knew of my affection for him, and he knew it as well. It was written all over my face. Whenever I was with him, I transformed, and a vibrant spring blossomed within my heart. I sought a way to express my feelings, believing he would understand. I got to know him better, supporting him and always being there for him. Finally, one day, I gathered the courage to reveal my emotions. I soared on the wings of freedom, eager to share, only to witness him kissing my friend. Just the day before, he had professed his love for me and assured me I could confide in him, sharing every torment that plagued my soul. In an instant, the world shattered before me. I lost both my friend and my lover. Unbearable pain engulfed me entirely. But nothing lasts forever, and what remained was an emptiness named loneliness. I lost myself, and I can't seem to find. Help me! You're an angel, aren't you? She could utter no more, for her tears choked her voice, and she lacked the strength to fight them. The tears fell swiftly, and one particularly audacious droplet landed on his hand uninvited. To him, they seemed less like tears and more like diamonds cascading from her wondrous eyes. He couldn't fathom how anyone could cause her harm. She was a vision, a dream, his dream. The moment her tear landed upon his hand, he realized not only what, but more importantly, who he had been seeking.
Thank you for watching. I hope it was interesting. See you in the next story. Goodbye.